Hi there, it's Lenny Magill with the GlockStore Performance and Custom Shop here in San Diego today, and I've got a new weapon light to show you that's designed specifically for the Glock 43X with the MOS rail. Wow, okay, so here's the Glock 43X, and the first version that came out was without the rail. And then they said, well, let's make a version with a rail. And the problem is that nothing fits on the rail. So they came out, they brought this out, and none of the existing Picatinny style lights, lasers, etc. would fit on here because it's just too small. Remember, the 43X, one of the super hot properties for Glock, is the single stack 10 round version that basically has the same profile as the Glock 19, but it's slimmer. So it's easier for a lot of people to get a good grip on, but also much lighter and much easier to carry because of the size and the overall weight. So it's been a huge success. It's a 10-round magazine. We also have magazine extensions to get you up to 12, and there's also a 15-round magazine available. There's lots of neat accessories. The MOS version has this rail system, and the MOS, of course, will take your optics. Again, these optics have to be the smaller profile optics made specifically for this smaller profile gun. The Holosun K is one that comes to my mind right away. RMR makes one, or Trijicon makes one as well. Shield Optics makes one, or Shield Sights makes one. So there are some 3 or 4 different red dot optics that will fit on this MOS pattern. That said, what we're going to do today is talk about this new light that's designed specifically for this version with this rail, because the laser light before would not work on this because of this rail. It does have a different shape here on the dust cover is what this is called, underneath the slide. So you can see, again, there's like a little Picatinny rail thing there, but it really doesn't do a lot because there's not much that's going to fit in there yet. I'm sure some manufacturer will make some things, but this is one of the first lights and laser combos that actually will work in or with this MOS 43X. So that said, let's talk about laser lights real quick. One of the reasons you want to have a light is because it helps you identify your target or the threat in a self-defense or home defense scenario. So you better believe that if you are involved in a shooting, that someone's going to end up suing you, whether the family of the burglar who broke into your house. They're going to say, oh, you shouldn't have shot him, and they're going to take the jury down to your house at 2 in the morning, the same time you shot him, and say, you see, there's not enough light here to identify the target. That's how crazy this world is. But if you can say, well, no, I had a weapon light, I had a light mounted to my gun, my self-defense, home defense gun, and I was able to clearly identify that target, then you're kind of like on the next level of defense. Now, all of a sudden, hey, that's not something they can throw at the jury and say, see, he shot someone, he didn't know who it was. That's, really important that you're able to identify the threat. And now, because a lot of people are using these guns for carry, same is true. Outside in the world, they're going to want to say, were you able to identify the threat? Clearly identify the threat. How could you at that time? It was dark. Well, I had a weapon light mounted to my gun, and I knew how to use it. All right, so that's what this weapon light can all do for you. Now, the other thing that this little small package has, it has a laser. It's a light laser combo in this tiny little package with a rechargeable battery. Pretty phenomenal what they're able to do with the electronics nowadays. And the light is not just some, dimpy little light. It's 150 lumens in this little package. I mean, it's super bright, as you can see, just blowing up my hand here. And here it is in the camera itself with the green laser. This is the Nightstick TSM 14G model. That's the model itself. So let me turn it off real quick. All right, so what's really neat about this is designed specifically for this gun. So when it fits around here, it fits perfectly. And it uses a system to mount onto this trigger guard that, like I said, looks like it just grew there. So let's go ahead and install it, and then we'll talk about how to use it, and then we'll talk about carrying and concealed carry. So you'll notice in the package comes this little tool, and there are 3 little screws that keep this together. This is kind of a clamshell. So you'll take it apart, And then you'll see we're going to go ahead and fit it around this trigger guard, and also this upper part is going to clamp into this rail. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. I've already taken apart some of these screws, so I didn't have to do it here on camera. And I'll just take the last one with a tool and give it a couple turns, and it should come out. And I think that's it right there. They're long screws because they reach all the way to the other side. So there's the 3 screws that come with it. And now here's the trick. It comes apart like so. That's just the housing, and this keeps all the electronics. And it's really truly a marvel of technology, the fact that it has the light, it has the laser, and it has the battery, rechargeable battery, all as one unit. The battery is recharged with this magnetic little piece that goes on the bottom right here. You can see how it clicked in. And then it will go into any USB port. So it's fairly easy. Of course, you got USB ports on your computer, so you can charge it off your computer. Most of the new cars will have a USB port somewhere to plug into. And a lot of the new electrical outlets will have 2 electrical, for plugs, just normal plugs. And then they'll have 2 USB ports as well. And you can buy those at Home Depot and upgrade your existing electrical outlets if you want. We've done it at a couple of outlets in my house. It's super convenient because, again, you can just plug a USB into it quite easily. This goes onto the gun easily as well. I mean, watch this. So here's how it works. So you can notice right here how that's the shape of the trigger guard. Same thing on the opposite side. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the side without the electronics. I'm just going to go ahead and drop the gun straight into it like that. See how it holds? You notice on the other side up here where it grabs hold of the rail. And now we're going to go ahead and take this unit and just drop it right on the other side. Kind of squeeze it together, make it find home here. And it should go together easily, so if it doesn't, just pick it up and adjust it. There it is. So before I put any screws in, I just want to look at it and see how it works. And it works great. So now I'll drop my screws back in, and we will tighten these up, and we'll talk about how to operate this light. Again, it's a 150 lumen light with a red laser. There is a green laser. Okay, here's the tool. Go ahead and put this into the gun, and let's go like this. Just drop it straight down and go. Now I'm going to get these to the point where they're almost tight, just starting to bite, and then I'll come back and tighten them down again. I don't want to tighten one too far because I don't want to tweak it in any which direction. So it's kind of like your lug nuts on your car. And you don't have to crush these. Finger tight is good. And one last turn over here. Boom. Okay, that's good. Okay, excellent. And there it is. Like I said, see how it fits almost like it grew there, like it was designed to be there. Good job for Nightstick. Now, the operation. You can obviously operate the buttons with the trigger finger. Nightstick in their literature recommends that you don't, that you use the offhand. So if you were to do that, you could use your thumb over here like so. Either way will, kind of work. The beauty of operating with your finger, trigger finger, is that you are on the gun, but you then lose that extra time to get back here. One of the ways I like to do it is to operate it with a thumb, like I said, but here's how this works. You can actually tap it and the light stays on. If you just depress it and hold down, the light will come off when you release the thumb. So you saw my thumb come off. So go ahead, I'll do that again. I'm going to hold down, identify my target, and then come off. Now, one of the things that we talked about in previous videos, and it's really important, is the use of this laser in a tactical way to temporarily blind your threat. Which means that if you see someone and you think, okay, well, that could be a threat and he certainly is coming to kill me and I have my gun and I can actually go ahead and spot him in the eye, take that off, and he will be temporarily blinded. the 150 lumen light in your eyes will constrict your eyes to the point where it's trying to limit the light. And as soon as you take that light off, it takes the eyes a second or two to kind of open back up and to see again. So that gives you time to get away, to move tactically out of the way, to take some type of evasive action, so you don't necessarily have to deploy a handgun. You don't have to go bang, but at the same time, you've temporarily blinded that threat, and you now have the time to be able to move and take cover, do whatever you can to avoid the situation. So that said, if you've never done that before, you should try it. I mean, you know, we've taken flashlights and actually spot someone, and you know, after a minute, they're blinded by the light, right? And so as you spot them, then you can actually move, and we've actually moved right up to someone, like 2 feet away, and they don't even know it, and then you unspot it, and they still don't know you're there, and as soon as their eyes start to open up, oh, there you are, because they are temporarily blinded. They're blinded by the light, and they're blinded by the fact that their eyes are constricted in that dark environment, and that extra 1 or 2 seconds, they have no idea where you're at. So you can use a light very tactically. The other way that we've seen the light being used is almost as an aiming device. Because the light goes out and is a cone in a 10-foot, 15-foot scenario, which is typically home defense, self-defense, anywhere that light is, in the center of that light is typically where your bullet will end. Being that the light originates right here under the bore, as that light goes out in a cone, at the center of that cone is basically where the bore of the gun is. So the light can be used as somewhat of an aiming device. It's faster in my mind than the laser itself. There is a laser here. So if I had a choice between a laser and a light, I would take the light all day long. Having both is the best of both worlds. We have found in competition shooting and just in practice and in some form of proofing of what's better, you're going to shoot faster with iron sights than you are by shooting with a laser and looking for the laser on the target. You're just going to be faster with iron sights because it's difficult to see a laser at distance, for one, and also to spot where it's at. And now think about the scenario with clothing and folds of clothing. That laser is not necessarily going to be visible as much as you think it could be. And it's not like TV where you're going to use a laser and say, hey, I've got the laser on you, stop. It's not going to happen that way. Okay, everything's pretty fast. And once you have that, if you have to point the gun at someone, chances are that laser is not going to be that effective. That's really basically where my mind's at. And I think a lot of people who are in this business would say the same thing. But if you have the opportunity to have a laser and you have the opportunity to have a light, both together, that's the best of both worlds. And that's what this is, really the best of both worlds. It's super lightweight. It's 150 lumens, rechargeable battery, and operated, really with just a flick of the button. Now, here's the other neat thing about this. It's got 3 modes. Mode number 1 is light laser. That's what we have going on right here. You probably won't see the laser now because the light's just blowing it out. To change modes of light only, you just hit both buttons. Change again, both buttons at the same time. Now it's going to be laser only. There's the laser. Now, back to light and laser. 2 buttons at the same time. Light and laser. Again, 2 buttons at the same time. Light only. 2 buttons at the same time. Laser only. And my preference really would be light and laser. Why not? And again, here at this close distance, the light is overpowering the laser. Farther down the road, down there, I can see the laser clearly. Okay, so it is definitely there, and it is very viable. But at 150 lumens and this lightweight package, it's pretty spectacular, and it could be a great option for your home defense, self-defense gun, and your carry gun. Now, of course, what you're going to say to me is you're going to say, well, yeah, but my holster won't fit with that light. And you're right. And that's why we make holsters. And we make holsters to fit laser and light combos. So here's how it goes. Boom, just like so. And check that out. That's a good package because the holster holds it. But when you want to come out, it comes out. So that's what you're looking for in a holster. You want it to, if you were to fall over, you don't want the gun to come out by mistake. But when you need it, you come out. Remember, see that finger? Comes out, right there it is. You want to keep it straight up. You always want to have a good discipline on your trigger finger, knowing that you don't want to come out and be here. You want to be here until you know what's going on. So never put your finger into that trigger until you're pointing the gun downrange. Boom, so here it comes out. So this is a neat little holster. It can be worn inside the waistband, or if you're right-handed, it'll be, this is actually a right-handed holster. This would be outside the waistband for this one. If you're right-handed and you want to wear it inside, you'll buy the left-handed holster. If you're left-handed, you want to wear it inside, you buy the right-handed holster. Or if you want to wear it outside with the big clip, you're just always going to wear it outside, you wear it with the, if you're right-handed, you buy the right-handed holster. And the nice thing about the clip is so easy to put on and off. You don't have to loop it through your belt and all that stuff. It's a very stout clip. It's going to grab hold of your belt. It'll fit on just about any size belt that you're going to be wearing. And it's, pretty darn convenient. So, and you know what, we put these out at a price point that is super good. So there you go. That's the light laser combo with holster. And I'm telling you what, the technology that these guys have and the lightweight and the rechargeable battery all in one package with light laser, it's unbelievable. I mean, 10 years ago, this was impossible to do. I'm anxious to see what happens in the next 10 years. And I'm sure you are too, and I'll be here along with everybody else at GlockStore to help you check out all this cool stuff. I'm Lenny Magill. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you next time.